What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Los Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Papa Sunkiller, aka Dan, accompanied by the Lord, Emperor, King, and God, Disco.
Count Disco.
What's going
My
on?
title
Disco?
I just got promoted to Lord, God, Emperor, King, Count.
Yeah.
That's a new one. I love it. I like it.
There you go.
I couldn't decide, so I just took all of
You just
them.
gotta take them all. It's I always like to say you're the
Prime Minister president.
Oh man, my favorite franchise of all time, and I can't remember the name. You're the Apollo Creed of the world, where Apollo Creed has 50 nicknames, and he uses every one of them. So
you gotta when you got so many, you gotta take advantage.
There you go.
All
so
right.
This is the Los Wise Guys podcast. As you can see, it's just myself. It's just Disco. It's a Dan and Dan episode. Eslam's not here because he's off in the mountains of Ramadan. He's out Ramadaning and doing the thing, you know. Yep. And he'll be back in 2 weeks.
I heard he's parched.
Yeah. I mean, he literally probably is. Like, the man's probably really thirsty right about now. That's okay. I'm gonna drink this green tea for him. I don't know if how he feels about green tea, but that's what it is. I'm drinking it.
I was talking about Ramadan with one of my riders, and because he was Muslim, and I was just saying like how I like give y'all respect because they go so hard. They're like, we're gonna just fast and do this crazy fast, and as an homage to Allah and whatnot. And then you look at Christians, we're just like, I'm just gonna cut out meat once a week.
Don't even do that. Don't even do that.
Exactly. And then some of us don't even do that. I always forget. I'm the worst. But
I remember. I happily eat meat. I eat meat and just defy everything. Like my family came to visit, and the day they came here was a Friday. It was Good Friday, where you can't eat meat. My dad and my sister are like, they're not eating meat. So what do? Ordered 2 pizzas. I had the one that was pepperoni, and it tasted delicious.
Oh man, they're probably like salivating.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were.
Oh god,
like, I'm gonna just keep eating this. This is all me. Anyway, so we got that. No, that's enough about our families and our pizzas and our religions. So this is the Los Wise Guys podcast, where we talk to you about all the nerdy stuff that's out there. We talk about that nerd culture. If you like what you see, go ahead and like our stuff. I want you to go like our stuff. I want you to subscribe to our stuff. I want you to share our stuff, and I want you to comment below. We are on YouTube. We are on twitch.tv/LosWiseGuys. We are on our own personal site. That's right. We have our own website called loswiseguys.com, where you can find all our amazing content, including the LWG FVGL S3. That's season 3 of the Los Wise Guys Fantasy Video Game League. Still in first place. I'm not feeling too good. Not feeling too good. There's a game that's coming out that's not going to run as well as most other games, and it's upsetting me. I was like, I picked this game knowing it was going to not be like the biggest hit, but it was going to get me some points. This is going to drop my points for this game, maybe a solid 3 to 4 points that I need it to be. That's upsetting.
It's probably realistically, I haven't really looked, but realistically, you're probably like 100 points past everybody else. So these 3 points don't.
No, I'm ahead, but not by a lot.
Yeah. Is it close? Is your friend doing good?
He's doing okay. You know why he's doing okay? Because he counterpicked the Rudy, and I've said this before. Rudy knows games and doesn't know anything about games at the same time. So this man picked some great picks, and this man was like strong in second place behind me. But there was this one game he picked, Crime Boss Rockay City, where anybody with 2 eyes looked at that game and knew it was going to be trash. Like, not just a bad game, Disco. Like, this might go down as one of the worst games ever created. And this man picks it. And then when it was time to do counter picks, when it was time to do counter picks, my friend Walter, who's all in the league this year, he had first counter pick. So of course he picks that because anybody would. So that game comes out. I think Walter got like Rudy got like negative like almost 20 off of that game.
That was the best counter pick. I
was just like, and the whole time I was like, I'm not gonna say anything to anybody because I'm just like, maybe something will happen. Maybe I could get a trade. Maybe I could do something. And I was like, there was nothing. I didn't see any openings. I was like, I'll just let it go. So now Walter's in second place because he picked some pretty good games, and then he has that as the counter pick. So he got points for that. And I was like, that right there puts him pretty close to me because of Rudy's stupid decision.
All right, so it's a good round, good season. You got a little more competition.
Tell you what, let's put it this way: everybody has negatives except for me right now in the league. So there's that. It's pretty even. But if you guys want to not only check out our site and check out where we have our stuff, you can also check out our socials, which are down below. So go ahead, follow us on all social medias. That's Twitter, that's Instagram. That's it, really. I mean, we have TikTok, but not our own personal TikTok. That one
You,
you just those wise guys.
yeah. You
But
can always check our YouTube, check our site. We got everything on that site, all our socials, all our links, all our good stuff.
yeah. And when you're finished following all that stuff and you guys are ready to go ahead and pay attention when we're talking this episode, we're going to talk about something that Disco and you and I have talked about this behind the scenes a few times here and there. We've never actually made content out of it. So here we are. We're doing it. We're talking about the
Oh
Wu-Tang An
yeah.
American Saga show.
You tell them, God.
You guys over there like, yeah, that's me. I got it. But yeah, man. So you and I think we've both been watching it since it started, right? It was like right before COVID hit.
Yeah, I think we've both been on it. And yeah, like you said, it's just been traveling under the radar.
Yeah, man. I know a few people that watch it here and there, but nobody. I don't know anybody that's really talks about it. I don't get it. Like I love the show. I was like every time there's a new episode, I was like ready to jump on it. I was like, I got to see what's happening next, and that's from season 1 up until now. For those of you that don't watch it or don't know about it, the show did just end. Season 3 was the finale. But yeah, man,
Yep.
I was excited to watch it every step of the way. Of course, it took a little while for 3 seasons because of COVID and everything, but great show.
Yeah, honestly, all 3 seasons were really good, and they really give you a different scope and perspective into the life of the Wu-Tang members, and because they really did have a crazy transitional period from going to like from the streets to really on top of the billboard. So
Yeah,
it's you really get to see that transition, and they take like 3 points in their careers, and it was a really fun watch. And
yeah. I mean,
there's some ups and downs, some slow
yeah,
parts, but overall, you really do get this really amazing experience, and the actors and actresses did a bang up job of just really portraying these characters, and they all look pretty close to the originals too, and they even the vocals, I wonder like how much time they put in trying to like match and mimic like the original characters. So there's a lot of work and a lot of props and kudos to everyone involved in this project. It was a like I said, it was an experience. It was a well worth the well worth the wait.
yeah, absolutely. No, I enjoyed the show very much. I mean, one thing you were talking about, like where they came from, like if you go to the first episode of the entire series, it starts off with one member shooting into another member's apartment and almost killing him and his family. And then later on, fast forward years later, all they want to do is like make songs with each other, like them
Yeah,
two
they're
specifically on a track.
like Goku and Vegeta, like
Yeah,
enemies to frenemies to just like best buddies. Just like that's my dog.
yeah, it's
And
crazy, you know.
honestly, they were one of my favorites too, like my favorite pairs in the in
Oh
the in the
yeah,
whole saga.
yeah. For
Just
anybody who doesn't
just
know,
seeing
it's
that
yeah,
whole transition as well.
yeah. So we're talking about Ghostface Killer and Raekwon the chef.
Raekwon, yeah,
Yeah, man. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. You see, it's like right off the bat, he's doing it's not so much a drive by, like they stop and do it, and you have Power, who I believe was driving the car, who later on he's like, yeah, Woo Wear, I'm the one who's making the merch, the clothing line, I'm the one who's coming up with it. And then
yeah,
Ghostface Killer, who does he work for? He works for Divine, RZA's brother. It was just like
yeah.
he and Power, they used to be cool. Then they had beef. They wanted to kill each other, and then they over here, they're the two businessmen of the group. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's
And
crazy.
and honestly, it's such a cool story to hear that, all these like people from Staten Island and all the different boroughs, and they literally grew up with like seeing each other when they were younger, and then they stood with each other to the superstardom, and then being
Mhm.
on top of the world, getting Wu Mansion, and just doing rock star stuff. And
Yeah, man.
it's really cool to see what happens when people stay together with like really creative and powerful alpha males that's like with so much charisma. You slap them in this huge rap group, and then boom, they just explode. It was really it was really cool how they depicted that as well, with the RZA kind of pioneering this whole project. he
The
uh
Abbott.
he the abbot, yeah. So he definitely had his troubles, and getting robbed and just trying to orchestrate everybody, and then just getting the motivation to get out of the hood, and just being like, this we're more than this, pretty much. And just you know gathering all these strong egos, and I feel like that's a big part of all
Yeah.
3 seasons. Just having, like I said, all 9 different alpha males, and having them slapped in a tour bus,
Yeah.
and having to live and not kill each other, and you know, groupies and all the stuff that comes with superstardom,
Yeah,
especially
man.
when you have nothing to having the whole world at your fingertips. That alone just
Yeah.
it makes people crazy, and just changes. Money gets to people, so it's kind of
Yeah.
cool just to see how they still at the end just stood with each other.
I mean, one perfect way to put it, Disco, is maybe cash rules everything around
That's
me.
exactly
You know?
that the one of the best songs too, man. Those
Yeah, man.
It's really cool for me too, so because I used to be really really into music and like trying to make my own songs and rap and rock and all this stuff. So it was really cool for me to see RZA kind of in his like
His creative process.
super obsessed
Yep.
state. Like I used to get into, like I used to not even like let people touch my guitar. I would literally walk around with my guitar 24/7. I was very obsessed. So it was cool to see him kind of like share that same passion for music, and like and granted, as different mediums, he had his like tape decks and all this like analog technology, whereas now it's everything's on a laptop, but it's still the same thing, just trying
Yeah.
to take an idea and make a sound to become a masterpiece, a magnum opus.
Yeah, man.
Just really, just it was really cool for me to see that. It
Yeah.
inspired me. Like halfway through some of the episodes, I just put on my guitar, just like doodle on it with no amp, just like low, just to have in the background because it just inspired me, and I wanted to keep, you know.
No, I hear you. Here, I've been meaning to put this little image up. I forgot to do so. I'm gonna share that real quick. But what's it called? One thing I wanted to mention. Actually, let me do this. I like when we're in the picture along with the look. We're part of the Wu-Tang. We're in there. But
Oh yeah,
one thing I wanted to say was music. It's funny because we were talking about this. It's ironic because we were talking about this because of the episode. We were just I don't know how music came up as soon as we started talking to each other before we started recording. I'm not musically inclined in any way, other than like Guitar Hero and listening to music. I don't know. I just don't know music. And yeah, man. So seeing their creative process, seeing where they came from, I like to see where people like just create, whether it be music or anything, just from nothing to something, and then to see it happen on such a grand scale too, where it's like these guys literally like took over the music world. Where RZA, like he was listening to music at the time, and he knew it was just like what's out there is fine and all, but it's not real. It's not like the street stuff that we know, that we live, that we can talk about, that we do talk about. It's just not out in the public eye. It's like it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not it's like being filtered. Like he's like, no, he wants to give it to them raw.
diluted.
Yeah, diluted. And he knows that the Wu-Tang can bring it to them, can bring it to the world. So he's like, if I could just get these guys to stay together and not murder each other and stop selling drugs for just 1 second,
Get
we
off
can
the
take over the
streets,
world. And it
which
works.
is which is a big ask. 5 years of your life, and like get off the streets. Like that's pretty much means just stop making money. Like
Yeah. It's like, yeah,
because
and that's the thing. He tells me, he's like, listen, I need you guys to trust me. Here's a contract. Give me 5 years of your life, and I'm gonna make all your dreams come true. And he
stay
did.
out of trouble.
You know?
So no, yeah, and it really is cool to see their passion for hip hop and the hip hop culture, and like you could even see it in this last season, especially where the Abbott RZA was trying to find this new sound, and
Hmm.
his new brilliant idea was to use live instruments, and it was really interesting to see how even something like so normal, I feel like that's so normal today. Like
Mhm.
you always hear live instruments, but
Yeah.
I guess back then it was all just samples, and
Remember, well, that's how rap
so
like came up. Yeah, it was all through
so
sampling music.
it was really cool to see that how RZA like kind of pioneered, or I don't know if he pioneered, but they made it seem like in the show like he pioneered this
Yeah.
new kind of wave, like oh, live instruments on the beat, like that's crazy. So, and it was really cool to see how much backlash that got. It was like this ain't hip hop, like
Like
this
Raycon
ain't
was like, "Nah,
like
this
it's
isn't
not
it."
this
Yeah.
ain't exactly. And meanwhile, RZA's like kind of being like a genius level, just like he's hearing it, but like I guess without the beat and without all the other stuff, all the other people were just like, this
Yeah.
just sounds like some weird classical, like,
Which
um,
I mean, we're gonna get into it, but I'm Raekwon the Chef specifically for the like his type. Like, remember, he was all talking about like he wanted to be like a mafioso type dude. And it's like when this man brings in like a little mini orchestra from like Italy, and you're not down with that, like for what you're trying to bring out there. It's like I figured it was like tailor made for him. You know what I'm saying?
No,
But
yeah, you can, but it's also just where they came from too.
yeah,
Like
no, exactly.
that was just an idea for a project, whereas hip hop is still like
Yeah.
he has this image of hip hop in his head. So
No.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really
we're gonna get
cool.
into the show real quick, but one thing I wanted to mention that I liked a lot was so there's this documentary series on Netflix called Hip Hop Evolution. Whether you like hip hop or not, highly, highly recommend. It's like one of the best documentary series I've ever seen. It's on Netflix. And this dude, I can't remember his name. He's an artist as well. He goes through literally the history of hip hop, how it started to where it is. And it's like he goes through the years and he's like they start off with this type of music and then to this we had these people. It's like he talks about what was it, Cool Herc was the guy who was basically like the pioneer of hip hop. With this dude, he used to just throw like I think it was like dance parties like in his apartment like in New York somewhere, and people would just go to his party and then they would just like he would just DJ and he would just like take certain parts of songs just playing for people and then people would dance to it and then they started rapping over the beat and that's how hip hop was created. And what's it called? It's cool because like once that came out, you looked at the first groups of hip hop. Well, like the first the singers were groups. It was like you had to have a group. You know, it's like it was you didn't have like one or two people. It was like no, it's like you had at least like 4 to 6 people rapping in group. And then as time went on, they kind of cut back and it was like maybe we do 3, maybe we'll just do 2, maybe it's just one person on the track. And then here comes Wu-Tang. It's like no, we're putting like 8 dudes on this. And it's just like whoa, what is this? We don't do this no more. Like, and they're
It's
like, no,
like
we got you.
unheard of, like, and
Yeah,
especially to manage so many people, like in the last season they mentioned it too because they're doing a show with Rage Against the Machine, and one of the ladies was
yeah,
just like, I only have to deal with 4 people, and you have to deal with 9.
yeah.
It's like that's so true. Like,
Well,
you know, especially because when you get famous, your ego definitely gets inflated. Everybody starts like, praising you, and it's like, oh, I'm on top of the world. So it's like, how do you control these people?
yeah, man. No, I feel you. But I mean, that right there, that's hey man, it's just a testament to their talent. Rage Against the Machine too. Like I was not expecting to see them show up in the show at all. I was like, they weren't
Oh
really there,
yeah,
but the fact that they mentioned them, I was like, that's sick. But
yeah.
yeah, man. So I mean, we get into it real quick. So I guess we're gonna just like talk little bit about like each season a little, like kind of like what their goal was, what it was about. So
Like little summary.
yeah. So I mean, season 1, right off the bat, it's you have half the people, half the Wu-Tang is like selling drugs on one part of Staten Island, the other half selling drugs in the other half, and they want to outdo the other and at the same time murder each other. Like that's really where it started.
Yeah, yeah, very much life in the streets, like yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of engrossed in their own just hustle and making their own money and flipping their own product, and yeah, everybody
Yeah, man.
got their own guns and stuff. And like you said earlier, Raekwon actually shot up Ghostface's house with his 2 brothers in it too. So the season like initially starts off, they're beefing heavy. He immediately wants to get back at him because he only has his mom and his 2 brothers. So it's
Yeah.
like
And they
you
were all in
with
the
him.
apartment when this dude was shooting it up. And not only that, remember, like Ghostface Killer's best friend is RZA at this point. And when Raekwon, after he shoots them up and they're getting chased down by the cops, what does he do? He goes to RZA's house, like, here, hide these guns. And then it's like, yo, these are the guns that almost killed your best friend and his family. And then Ghostface comes over to like rat with RZA and it's like the murder weapons or attempted murder weapons are literally there, and you have no idea. And RZA's just trying to make his music. At the end of the day, it's like, yeah, he's out there, he's working under like Power as well. I mean, not Power, he's working under Divine, selling drugs in their spot. But it's just
Yeah,
like, dude, I just want to make music, you know. So it's crazy. But
yeah.
there's a lot of drama. There's that. Then you have Ghostface is dating Cherie,
Oh yeah,
RZA and
yeah,
Divine's sister. Which
yeah.
fun fact, they actually have a bunch of siblings. Like there's a bunch of sisters, but they all molded them into one for the show. And there's like her name is Cherie, but it's like there's multiple family members in
Oh, for
for
real?
real.
I didn't know that.
That's one thing I
I
was doing with the show. Every time an episode would end, I would just read up on Wu Tang. Like I
Oh,
was doing that for all
I
3
sh-
seasons. I learned more and more about Wu-Tang as I was watching the show. I would just read about them.
that's funny. I should have done that. I actually like Cherie as an actress. She did really well. Like I guess it makes sense now that she's like portraying multiple people because I was like, oh, she's like always just reliable and always supportive and kind of always just keeps a level head on Ghostface because he he
It
can
was
go
crazy.
crazy, especially with guns too. He always strapped. He multiple times he just shoot out stuff. He even gets shot in the neck, I think. And is it this season? I don't know if it was the first season or second season, but he gets shot in the neck.
Yeah.
Um, so and then on the last season, he's in the car with the Delphonics, and he thinks this car's following him, and just straight pulls out instinctually, just pulls
Yeah.
out his gun and starts shooting at the car. Just
Yeah.
not even really sure if like the car is really doing anything.
Yeah. Was it in his
Straight-
head? Was it actually happening? And that's because he was going back to Staten Island. Like he was going back to,
yeah, the
what they
hood.
refer to as Shaolin. and and
Yeah, so
and it's just like
and
he's just out there.
the Delphonics were shook, just like did he just?
It's funny because I was literally yesterday, I was watching a thing on YouTube where the algorithm just knows me, the YouTube algorithm. And it's a couple of members of Wu-Tang, they're being interviewed, and Ghostface is there, and he's just like, yeah, so I was in a shootout with the Delphonics, and he's like talking about it. And according from his point of view, um, he said that yeah, he was in a shootout, and basically the Delphonics were like down for it. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, from his point of view, like yeah, they were cool. And one of them even said he had brought a knife. He was like, "Yeah, we knew we were hanging out with Wu Tang, so we figured, what, just in case, let's bring a knife." So,
That's hilarious, yo.
and then it's
It's
funny because go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it's crazy how like we watch these shows and how much is dramatized and edited and
Well,
you
I mean,
know
who knows the truth really? Because that's something that happened to Ghost, and we're learning this from Riz's point of view because he's like the producer on the show, and I think he directed the last episode too. But it's like this is all Riz's perspective, the show. So you have his
yeah.
perspective, but there's like 8 or 9 members in the group, so everybody has a different perspective. You know what I'm saying?
I see, I see. And also, I just want to look that up. So I just want to shout out Jolie Griggs. She plays Cherie, so I thought she was very strong, talented actress in the show. Really, kind of helped. She was just always there when they, even the whole gang, like
Oh yeah. She was involved with the company. She was there for obviously her brother. She was there for
for
Ghostface,
ODB.
ODB. Yep, I was just about to say that. Yeah, 'cause, I mean he was a cousin.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
stuff.
Jizza. It was another. We're gonna get into Jizza. 'Cause Jizza like truly is a genius. Um,
No, yeah, he had in the last season. He had one of my favorite episodes, or mini stories.
yes,
I,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
but how
but
did
yeah, man.
you? No, actually, I'll save it. I'll save it till we get to the third season. So,
Yeah, no. So
um,
hang on. You want to talk Lobos barking? Dogs here.
yeah, yeah. So the first season wraps up kind of. The whole Wu-Tang is still kind of forming. They're coming together, and they still need to squash their beefs, but they're kind of RZA assembles them. At least he has the vision, and he's like, if I gives them the opportunity, he requests 5 years of their life, and so they could. He promises to bring them to the top, and this is kind of like that pivotal moment in their lives where it's like, do I stay on the streets and make my money and continue this hustle, this lifestyle, or do I take the leap of faith and follow RZA, the Abbott? They call him the Abbott. Do I give my life to this guy 5 years and possibly get let down, or who knows?
Yeah,
They really put all their faith and trust into RZA, and it paid off for them in the end. Honestly, they're all mega superstars, and
absolutely. But yeah, man. And then it's a lot they came from. It's like they got this one dude who's just like, "Hey, you can draw. Can you draw a logo like for this group?" And it's
oh
just
yeah,
like, and that dude ends
that
up
was
being like their DJ, like that goes on tour with them and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool to see those little tidbits, those little Easter eggs to figure out. Because that Wu-Tang logo like blew up. I
Yeah,
remember like I always wanted that Wu wear, that Wu-Tang, and then throwing up the
the
eagle
W.
too, the
Yeah,
little the W. Like it was just such a fun group. Like
yeah,
all the symbolic nature and even their videos. I remember were so dope for the time. I like
yeah,
uh Wu-Tang Killer Bees. I remember just I just remember being so engrossed, like
Mm.
almost like when Korn came out with that one video, I forgot what it was called, but like with the bullet following, they follow the bullet and it goes through the craziest scene. It's like almost reminiscent to that. Like it's just so capturing, and the music was just banger, and like it was just
Oh yeah, man.
they were revolutionary for little groupings. Well, I guess they're not little, but like from a small town Staten Island and the other boroughs, it's crazy to see how their vision came to life and their
Yeah.
talent just all wove together and created these crazy bars, and they upped the ante for hip hop, really. Like they really paved a new way for I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of artists, and inspired us with just so
It,
many talented individuals. Method Man, Spectrum Deck, all of them just
oh yeah.
killed.
No, man, that's the thing. And like season one was pretty much like about setting the foundation. And don't forget, there's this one kid that they talked about who was like friends with them who got killed like in a drive by, and like that kind of like put everyone together. Like they all went to his funeral, and this was like when they were feuding on both different sides, and that's something that kind of like also led to them like kind of coming together. Like one of the things that they talked about was just like you look at the boroughs, you look at the five boroughs, and like Staten Island is the borough that like everybody sleeps on. Like that's the one. It's like that's you're basically in Jersey at that point. It's just like nobody cares about Staten Island. They're just like, yo, we need to show them. It's like no, like we're the ones to look out for. Like everybody already looks down on us. Like why are we fighting with each other when like we could just show the world like this is what Staten Island could do, and like that's where it came from. Really, it's like just repping Staten Island, and they killed it, man.
And
Overall,
just seeing that the dude died too is also just kind of a wake up call, because it's like if I stay on the streets, that could be me. Like
yeah.
so
And think about it.
it,
It's
it,
like
it
you got at one point he gets arrested. Divine he starts doing their management stuff after he gets out of a halfway home because he was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like
yep.
Bobby, he got locked up, or RZA, he got locked up in season 2, I think it was, but like, before that. And one other thing I wanted to mention real quick is like remember he went on tour before them too. So another reason why he was able to kind of be the Abbott and lead them was because he got a record deal on his own as Prince Rakeem. And remember
Yeah,
he
so
went out there. Yeah, go ahead.
he had some experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And basically he was just like, yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just do whatever. They're gonna give me the money. And it's like, yeah, just look at me, I'm famous. And then he saw like, nah, this is messed up. And that's kind of like where he turned towards like more like the Muslim religion too, where it's just like that's where he got the name RZA. RZA means zigzag zig, and like he breaks it all down and all that stuff. And it's like it's like a very like they're all very much influenced by that. And that's where he was just like, listen,
Yeah,
I've seen what they do to you. And like Jizza, I think he had a deal where they messed with him too. I was like, listen, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Like I can lead us there. I can lead us to the promised land. You know?
I like that like spiritual aspect that they like they always refer to each other as God, and
Yeah.
like they always say peace, peace, and like they're pretty woke, like as what these people call woke nowadays.
Mhm.
Like back
Yeah.
then, it's like they have the light inside them, and they even though they're from the streets, they still recognize that like spiritual aspect, and it's really
Yeah.
cool to
There's
see.
something bigger than them. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, and yeah, and they portray it too in that in that one like mini episode with the liquid swords. I really like that one.
Oh yeah. But we
But
got that. And then I don't know if
yeah,
it's season 1 or season 2 where when RZA's making the deals for them, like what he came up with was revolutionary. It was just like, hey, there's this group called Wu-Tang. We're all going to be signed to this one label, but then everybody underneath the Wu-Tang, they're all going to get signed to whatever labels they want. And it's like nobody'd ever heard of that. It's like you work for like this one label, everybody underneath your group works for this one label, this, that, and the other. And RZA's like, nah, it's like some people make better fits in other companies. So I want, and it
yeah.
was like I forgot the name of the company, but it was like kind of like a smaller group, a smaller record label
Uh, oh,
that
oh,
got
I
Wu Tang.
forgot.
Yeah, where it was like that one guy who was like that one young guy. He was just
Yeah,
like,
the
no, it's like
one.
he saw the vision. He's like, I know you
Yeah,
guys could be something. I want to be there. Like, I'll give you whatever deal you want. And that's where they got it. It was like, okay, so you're signing Wu Tang, but you're not signing the individuals of Wu Tang. You know?
yeah, yeah, and especially that was like a power play on RZA's part too, because it like allowed them to be a group, but
Yeah,
also harness their own individual talent, and it was really cool for him to foresee that and to plan for
yeah.
that, and it benefited them,
revolutionary.
honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, man, when he goes out and he does that, and the dude's cool with it, and then you have like the different record labels. Like once Wu-Tang
With
hits, it's got to be
the
season 2. It has
label
to
was
be that.
called Loud.
Yes, thank you. When they signed to Loud.
Yeah, and I think it was season 2. Season 1, I think they all got together on that boat, and then it like ended there or something. And
Yes, that's yep.
season 2 is when they actually solidified it with like the
Yeah.
contract.
Yes, you're right. That boat episode was really good in season 1.
It was.
Because
There's so
everybody
much
had problems with each
tension.
other. Yeah, there was tension. They
Everybody.
had guns on there. It's just like they're just like on a ferry, just a regular New York ferry.
Sir, didn't one of them buy like a gun off a dude on the ferry too? It's like
yeah. They're like,
so
oh, this
crazy,
dude's on here
like,
because remember, Ghostface was on there, Raekwon was on there, and so was Power and Vine, and then RZA. So they're all on there trying to talk to each other and try to be cool. It's like, yeah, but like these 4 dudes want to kill each other. So it's just like, listen, I'm gonna do this. You guys got to be on board with me here.
Half the group wants to kill each other, like literally.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though, like the power of just taking a leap of faith and unity and being able to look past your your grudges and look past yourself for the greater whole, the greater good.
Yeah,
and
man.
it's crazy because they could have easily not come together. It could have been, a group of 5, and who knows if Wu-Tang would have survived if it was like didn't have all of them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And RZA saw the vision. Like he knew he needed everybody. It's like, you guys are the Wu-Tang. It's like, we need everybody here. And then of course they later on add other people. You end up getting a Master Killer, and then they didn't really talk about it in the show, but they also get like Capadonna, who's another one. It's like there's so many people that end up coming to the Wu-Tang afterward. And you mentioned earlier, like the Killer Bees and all that.
They did mention Capadonna
Oh, they did?
in the last season. They signed him and Ghostface Killer both in that one Divine episode.
I don't remember them signing Cap. Yeah, no, I know they signed Master Killer.
No, because he said he was talking to Tommy. This was when they gave ODB the Mariah deal too, and then he also wanted to sign Ghostface and then Capadonna because he showed Capadonna.
That was Master Killer.
Nah, they said Capadonna.
Then it was Master Killer and Capadonna, because I remember that's when they gave Master Killer the deal, and he's like, "Yeah, you're officially part of the group now." Like that dude.
Nah, but it was Ghostface because it was Divine had to get ODB on board, and he couldn't get ODB on board until the white manager dude, and then he needed
well, that was Mariah Carey's husband, I think, at the time. Yeah,
because Ghostface.
And that's when they found out he had
when
diabetes.
He found out he had diabetes, and he woke up and he signed the contract when he because Cherie was there, just like, do it.
So I mean, then they got both of them. They got they got Master Killer, Ghostface, and Capadonna and ODB at that point, because I remember that's when they signed Master Killer too. Remember, he's this dude back here.
I don't remember them signing Master Killer.
No, actually, that's Inspector Deck.
Ghostface and Capadonna, and then getting ODB on board.
Nah, maybe I'm misremembering. Because I remember they do eventually sign Master Killer.
I have dementia too, so I'm just that's just what I remember.
I know at some point they do sign Master Killer, and because then he gets his own like mini episode when they talk about like the 3 members that weren't that big, where they focus on You God, Master Killer, and Inspector Deck. There was like that one where they're in the Wu Wear like shop, but anyway, like you have the boat episode, that kind of like you said, that caps season 1. Then you get to season 2 where they like really break down the music. And one of the best parts of the whole series, I think, is when RZA has everybody at his at the studio there, and they're putting together the track for Protect Your Neck. And it's just like, remember, like for the longest time he was trying to work on the beat and he couldn't figure out how to do it. And then you see like they do a breakdown for like his mental process, where it's just like he's in there and he's talking to his uncle. From I forgot where, but it was somewhere in the South, and he's talking to him. He's like, yeah. So he's like, oh, I remember when you used to play this record. He's like, yeah, but I don't need these guys. It was like, I need the drums, and then I need the bass player from here. And then he's like, let me double the bass player up. And then like you see the process where these dudes are like, how come you don't need me? He's like, and then it was incredible.
That was a really cool like physical representation of how it is, because like That's pretty much how it is. Like on their laptops, it's like you just get a bunch of tracks which are layers, and so like you for every layer you actually saw what like instrument band or sample he was using, and it was really cool visual representation of the creative process and how he, yeah, like you said, like he listened to different parts and took some out, put them in, and then until he found exactly what he wanted. And
Yeah,
it's I wish I could do that.
dude, it was incredible. It's like that, and then during that whole time, it's like everybody. It's like there's some dudes that were just like always ready to go, like according to the show. It's like you needed somebody. It's like Inspector Deck is ready at all times. Jizza is ready at all times. Method Man is ready at all times. Like they're just good to go. Everybody else is kind of like you have to talk to him. Raekwon too. But it's like everybody else, he kind of like, all right, ODB, where's he this time? Like we gotta go
Oh
talk
my
to
God.
ODB.
And get
Where's
an
he at?
ODB to do anything is like pulling teeth, apparently. It's like, where is the old dirty bastard? Like,
But you have that, and then Ghostface is like he's in the middle of trying to kill somebody at all times. Like, bro, like music, let's go. We got
put
stuff
the
to
gun
do.
away. Like, you got a baby.
And it's in that episode where it's just like they're trying to like the whole time, like Riz is like he can hear it, but there's something missing and he can't figure out what it is. And then it's like you just have him and Ghostface, they're just watching old kung fu movies. And that's when they come up with it. It's like he's like, all right, he comes up with a beat. Ghostface starts finally writing his rhyme. And then they go out there and they do what they got to do. And it's like when they're just doing the Protect Your Neck record, it's insane. Like Inspector Deck writes his lyrics on the back of a pizza box. Like, it's like, and he, honest to God, like, I feel like he had the best part of the entire song, like in the beginning. But yeah, man, it's like they go in there and then you could see not only them, but like the actors who are portraying them are having such a good time at the end of the episode when they're doing the credits. You see all the actors are like running around, like singing, and then they do it again for the season finale. But it's just like they're all doing that stuff. And then like they record the video for it where they had cut off some dude's head and that dude ended up becoming Master Killer. Like, I'm telling you, man, it was just that song alone. Like it's that's like their first big hit, and I mean that might be my favorite Wu-Tang song, "Protect Your Neck." It's just it was just a hit. Like that episode was
I
insane.
honestly, I, until I rewatched this, I didn't realize how many like Wu-Tang songs I really do like.
Oh yeah,
Definitely like Cream is up there,
oh
Triumph,
Cream's yeah,
Protect Your Neck, Bring the Ruckus, Shame on a Ninja,
yeah, yeah.
Tears. There's just so many. Like I was like, oh damn, this really is my childhood over here. Like I really used to listen to these like almost every day, and it's crazy. Like my music taste has evolved so much, so it's really fun to kind of just feel this nostalgic feeling and go back to the roots.
Especially like when you see them doing like different parts, like when they're doing, especially when you have like RZA where he's like trying to come up with a beat, and then like you hear him like putting instruments together, and then at one point he does something, and then you hear it, you're like, oh my god, he's doing this song, and it's like at
Oh
that point
yeah,
you as a fan, like you're like, wait, I know this, like it's like that's one of the coolest things, or it's like I see like okay, this is what they're about to do next, like um when they were doing what was it well this is season 3 again, but when you had the little mini movie about ODB at one point where it's like he starts talking, it's like he's saying lyrics from what's it called? Oh man, what shimmy, 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 yeah. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like he's saying lyrics in this little movie. I was like, this is insane. At the very end, he's doing the video. Like it was just perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
That third season was interesting. But
Yeah.
how did the second season cap off? I'm kind
If
of
I
lost the
remember
recollection.
correctly, it's when they did the concert. When they like bum rushed the stage in black hoodies.
They did do that. It's very like ghetto as hell thing to do, and it just came out. Fucking ODB comes out with his little monologue, and
Yep.
it became their like tradition. And now,
Yeah.
so honestly, just really,
It
really,
was perfect.
they
It
really
was perfect.
brought the energy and the vibes, and this is where it benefits to have 8, 9 people, because now you
Yeah.
got 9 people just like rallying
Crazy hype
everybody,
just on
and
stage. Like everybody's gonna love
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But you have
So
that, and I want to say that has to be the first time you ever have Ghostface and Raekwon perform together, and they have one song together. Where Raekwon's like, "I want you both on a track." I mean, not Raekwon, RZA, and
yeah, yeah.
that's where their bond formed. And later on, they're just doing records together all the time. And like I said, look where they started off. The show starts off with one trying to murder the other.
For real. Now they're best friends for life, fucking ride or die. Like,
Yeah, man. But
uh,
I'm telling you that that ending with that basically where they're running on stage, they have the black hoodies. Looks like they they just like they're holding up the place. Like it's crazy.
no, yeah. But just to piggyback off what you're saying before, like when you hear when you hear RZA playing a song and it's like something one of their hits, in the third season and he did that Triumph beat, he was like, "This is it," and like he just got like a strike of thunder, and then he like hit the piano keys, and I was like, "Oh damn, that's triumphant," and like it really does bring that nostalgia feeling
Yeah.
back, and it's like I know that song. I know that song. It feels really cool to be
There's
like part of a group.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's on Disney Plus. I'm just gonna promote every other show I could think of. On Disney Plus, there's this thing with the Beatles that they came out with last year or the year before, I don't remember, where Peter Jackson, oh, I don't know why him, but Peter Jackson, director from Lord of the Rings, he somehow got a hold of like tapes of the Beatles when they were supposed to do like some type of like live performance after they had already been performing for years, and then they edited it, remastered it, and just put it on YouTube as like a 3-part series. I mean, on Disney Plus as a 3-part series, and you see the Beatles just going around talking like they're just like jamming, literally just having conversation like, all right, so we should do this when we perform. But it's like, what if we sit over here and then we have the audience over there? And then in the back, John Lennon is, I mean, not John Lennon, Paul
Paul
McCartney is
McCartney.
creating, yeah, he's creating Let It Be. Like, like one of the most iconic songs ever. And they're just trying to figure out how to do it. And it's just like, they're doing that. They're doing Get Back. And they're just like, no, 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 no. And they don't have words. They're literally just going that and just playing the thing. It's like, get back.
They're making it
Get
on the
back.
spot.
Yeah, and you're watching them create like some of the greatest songs in history. Like this is insane. And this show was giving me those vibes where it's like you're just seeing them come make these songs out of nowhere that like millions of people are going to listen to for the rest of their lives. It was insane.
Yeah, it really is. These songs 20 plus years later are still in my book at least. I don't know if these youngsters can really appreciate it, but in my book, it's like they're still bangers. They still
There's
go
old man
hard.
disco over
I
here.
would I would still blast it on my boombox if I could and
Just put your phone
whatnot.
on your shoulder and just put the volume all the way up. You'll be fine.
I remember, yeah, honestly, man, this was like maybe 10 years ago too. I remember being in Newark, New Jersey back when I used to chill over there. And I was chilling with my buddies, like little nephews or whatever. And
Mhm.
he used to be like this, he used to like rapping, and he was pretty good too. But
Mhm.
I played Method Man for him once, and he was like, "Oh, who's this?" Like he really didn't know who
Yeah.
Method Man was or any of Wu-Tang. I played him Cream, and he was just like, "Oh, this sounds good. This sounds cool."
Yeah,
Like I
man.
think he was just being nice though, and it's crazy because like it's crazy how youngsters just will never really appreciate it.
I don't know what it is though. I feel like you similar to me and Eslam as well. Like we appreciate older stuff that's older than us. I don't understand why people don't do that. Like other kids, they're just like, "Oh, that's old. I don't want to watch that." I'm like, what? Like I don't understand that. Granted,
I guess the
Eslam's in the other boat
further
now,
the
where he's just like, if it's made after I was done at high school, it's not good. Like Eslam just hates anything that's new at this point.
That's
Man, it was just
funny. Yeah.
insulting Fetty Wap that one time. I was like, name a Fetty Wap song. He's like, I know I don't like it. I was like, it's not even new anymore.
He doesn't even know who Fetty Wap is probably.
Just
Just like
hating on Fetty Wap for no
that's
reason.
not my cat.
But
Oh yeah.
nah,
Like,
man. But season 3,
so
we're
yeah,
pretty much they've made it.
the,
You know,
the
they made
last
it. They have the Wu
season.
Mansion. Yeah. And yeah, man, it's just I feel like season 3 was cool because like everybody had a moment to shine. Like everybody had their own episode or their own part of an episode. Whether it was like their own little movie or like the Divine episode, which was a great one, which we were talking about earlier, where it's just like this man's just he's just trying to handle everything, everything, and he
For real.
can't.
And it's a really cool to jump to that episode since you mentioned it. It was really
Yeah.
cool to see Divine because, like you said, he was on the streets, hustling on the streets, drugs and whatnot. To
Mhm.
see him kind of cross over into this white collar, what it's white collar, right? Rich people, white
Yeah.
collar.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, so to this like white collar environment, and to see him kind of make this transition and try to like be the black guy kind of mixing in and working his way in, and especially back then where it's like you don't really see too many like I guess rich black people in those types of
In those
buildings
roles, yeah.
in those roles. So it's really cool to see him kind of infiltrate that and navigate his way and kind of like walk both worlds really. Like he
Yeah.
still could be with the Wu and also still and then put on this white collar and then talk to these, white people like, oh, I like your
Yeah.
sound. The Wu-Tang is this, the Wu-Tang is that. And he
All
has
those
to kind of like
cowboys is listening to the
talk
Wu-Tang for some reason.
talk him up. So so you gotta, talk up a bunch of the different people
Yeah.
and also not even that, but just you could see in this episode he comes back and at that point everybody's kind of like famous and they for whatever reasons they have their doubts in him because I guess there it hasn't been 100% smooth, but at the same time he's still making everything happen
Yeah.
and it's not like they're easy to deal with. So it's a you
It's a
get to
lot.
see this headache and the sacrifices that Vine had to make. He missed his daughter's birthday.
Yep.
Was it daughter or son?
Is
His child.
is I think it was a son. Now I forget. It was definitely
Okay,
a
now
child.
but yeah, so you really get to see the sacrifice and all this effort, and
Yeah.
he could see the anxiety getting to him. He's like, "Where the heck is ODB? Where the heck is
Yeah.
everything is an
Who's this
ordeal and
guy
an
that's
errand."
claiming to be ODB's manager all of a sudden?
That was like, get this crack out of my face. He is really, really trying to avoid that guy, and it was
Yeah.
hilarious how in the end
He had to
he's
make a
the
deal with him.
he's the one
Yeah.
that got ODB to do that song, and it was all right. So it's really fun how to see that went full circle. That episode is probably one of my favorite in the whole
Great
season.
episode. That and then if that episode it kind of like they kind of like hint towards it when they're on the tour bus and then there's the one part where Riz is about to get on the bus with Vine and Power and everybody else and they're like no, talent goes on this bus. And then he tells them it's like listen, if you start separating yourself from them, they're going to start to resent you for it. Let me do that. And then like you see episodes later, that's where it is, where it's just like nobody wants to mess with Vine because he's the management. And
Yep,
it's just
and
like,
he's like
and he took that bullet for RZA.
He really did, and it really did end up like hating him. It's just like, oh, you been hanging with those like white people too
Yep.
much, and just kind of saying he's sold out and he ain't on top of his shit pretty much.
Yeah.
So he had to do all this stuff for the group, and even though
Yeah.
they're giving him hell of shit and doubting him and pretty much not making things smooth or easy at all, and it's rough
Yeah,
times. But
man.
at the end of the day, it was worth it because he and the whole franchise they became an empire and really did like
There was
take
one
the
part.
world by storm.
Yeah, there's one part in that episode though where I am just like, come on, man. Like I was just mad at Vine. Or it's just like when they were telling like when they signed that's when they signed Master Killer and then they're just like, yeah, you're gonna be on a track or whatever. And then Inspector Dex is like, what about me? Like I've and he keeps saying it's like, bro, I'm the soldier. Like every time you need me, I've come a song. And I'm over here in the same boat. I was like, this man, it's 3 seasons. This man still doesn't have a deal. Give this man a deal. Give Inspector Deck a deal. Come on.
He really was just always ready, just always
He,
ready.
man was ready to go. He never gave him any problems. There was the one in the beginning of season 3 where RZA is like, oh yeah, all my stuff got messed up in the flood from season 2. And then Inspector Deck, he steals one of the records. He's like, hey, let me go try to get this fixed. Like, yeah, he shouldn't have stolen it. But at the same time, this man's just like, hey, this is a problem. Let me take my part over here. Let me try to fix it and see what I can do. Like, this man was like, he was just there for the cause. And then he was the one who kept on getting passed over.
Yeah.
So it's just like I definitely felt like him. And then you have that's why I really like that one episode where they
Was
kind of like
that
spotlight.
was that the one? Was that Divine episode too, where
he walks out?
Or he like I don't know if it was that Divine episode. Maybe it was like the last episode where he pulls Rizzo aside and is just like, wait, was that? I don't even know. I feel like I'm mixing all the characters together
Who
now.
pulled Rizzo aside?
The dude that that's what I'm saying. I don't remember who it was now. He was saying that
There's like 15
I
members.
guess
That's the problem.
I guess and I think it was the one that you're saying, Inspector Deck or something. Because he was saying like, I've been here and you got the power and you have inside me. You're going over here to Ghost and other people
Oh yeah.
I've been here. Was that the same
Yeah,
person?
that's the one. And then he gets mad, then he just walks out. He like takes his stuff and leaves. He leaves the Wu Mansion.
I see. I see. And that was Inspector Deck. Damn.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay.
That was the one, because that, and then you have that. Well, I mean, let's talk about another episode. You already alluded to it. Liquid Swords with Jizza. Like that one
Yeah.
starts with the Divine episode where he's just like, where they're just like, hey, we need to do these songs, and he tells them like, Jizza, we need your album. He's like, sure, but I want everybody on my track. They're like, no,
Yep.
we have a Wu-Tang album coming up. This is your album. He's like, yes, but it's been too long. I need the entire clan on my track. And then that's when we cut to the, Jizza's episode, Liquid Swords, where they're going out there, and it was just amazing. I mean, if you want to talk about it.
I I want to talk about all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
First, so I was a little thrown off at first by the ODB one.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Because to this point in the seasons, they haven't really done anything like this. So I was like, really like, what's happening? There's like a whole little side story, mini movie type thing, and honestly, I like some parts of it, but it kind of felt a little flat to me because I was just like, maybe it's just because I was lost. Like I didn't really like. I know that like these little mini movies reflect pretty much like their album, and whatnot, but
that was Kurt McDirt.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just kind of felt a little flat to me, but also at the same time, I do respect the whole like season as a whole, and like I like that they were willing to take the risks and go that creative route and be like, what if we do this, but I don't know. For me, I felt like the first two landed a little flat to me.
I was okay with the second one. I enjoyed the second one. Raekwon's.
Yeah.
Where it was like the mob one, basically.
It was a mob one, and I don't know, but
like don't get me wrong.
For me,
my own
personal opinion, like it was kind of a little flat, and like I guess the second one wasn't bad, but I just compared to Liquid Swords, I was just like,
nothing was as good as Liquid Swords.
The Liquid Swords one was just took the cake out of all three of them. So I guess the second one really wasn't too bad, but it also really didn't wow me either. It was just like you're kind of like your regular cop type of. I mean, not cop, but like just
mob movie.
Mob guy coming up and then takes power and double crossing cops and so I don't know. I've seen a lot of movies like that, I guess, like Casino and all those. So I guess I was like, I get it, and that was what the album was about. But I don't know. I kind of just more appreciate like that Divine episode where you get to see more of the interconnectedness and the mind states and the well-being of the group as a whole and the financial status, and I guess I enjoyed that a little more than this little the creative album representations, I guess.
I hear you. I mean, there's that. I did like the other episode where, like I said, it was like they focused on three not so prominent members in You God, Master Killer, and was the third one Deck? I can't remember if it was Deck or if it was like, did they focus on Power? But the one where it's just like they're on the tour bus, You God finds out his son gets shot.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let me go back to Staten Island. And it's like, and they're telling him, it's like, yo, don't do something stupid. And it's like, is he gonna go and like kill the dude that shot his son? Mind you, his son is a toddler, and his son got shot. And it's just like you see him like outside the dude's apartment, like just ready to go. And then while that's happening, you have Master Killer who's like hiding the fact that he's like with Wu-Tang, but he's not with Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's what it's just like, hey, do you want to like get your uncle's what they call it, the shield or whatever, for the taxis? Like you could make a lot of money in this. And he's just like, no, dude's like this amazing lyricist. Like, like I can't remember who the third person was because I remember it was three people. It had to have been Deck, right?
I think so. I don't know. But I did like that episode too. It was kind of like a turning point for him too. It's like, do I want to be in the group? Can I really hang with the big dogs? This isn't something I really planned, and so it was kind of cool to see him kind of take that leap too, and just be like, have faith in myself. And then it was really cool for him to, because he really kind of was just like kind of like an author that writes under like a, you know, a different name type of thing. So
Yeah,
it's just like when they found out that it was him, like the uncle, it was really cool to get that recognition. Like, oh, that was the best, you know, verse on the
yeah,
track. Like it was really, you know, especially as someone that like messing around with music a little, it really is nice to get that like recognition. Be like, oh, I like
yeah,
that. Whatever that was, you're doing it right. Like,
yeah. And
so
then and
it's
if you look in the Protect Your Neck video, like, they chop off some dude's head, that was his head, that was Vasquez, like, he was just the guy who got
no,
his head
yeah.
cut off, and then here he is now, it's like prominent member of the group, like, you
Yeah,
know?
they alluded that to that
They
too
mentioned that,
in
yeah,
the third season because
yeah,
they're recording some like big video and he's just like, yo, last time they was cutting my head and now I'm in the group, so like now I gotta, you know, I gotta show out, I
yeah,
gotta, like, you know, really show that he's part of the Wu-Tang now, not
yeah.
just that
That
dude
and
that got his
then
head cut off and has that one verse, like, you know. So
you got, You God himself, where it's just like, this man shot his son, and, like, from where they came from, where You God came from, the fact that in the end, he was just like, "Let me not do this," like, me shooting this guy isn't gonna make my son better. Me, you know, me going and visiting my son in the hospital, making sure he's okay, me making money for him is gonna change the game. Me killing this guy isn't. So it's like when he has the opportunity to kill the dude and then he chooses not to, it's like that's him growing as a person right there. You know, where it's just like, you know, he who knows
yeah,
what could have happened if he did
kind
that a different route.
of letting go of that street mentality, you know, where blood for blood, bullet for bullet. So it's
Yeah,
kind of cool to see him kind of break that cycle and really, really use his logical brain to kind of step back and be like, yeah, exactly like you said, like this ain't,
mm,
it's not going to help nobody. And if anything, it'll probably just create more blood, and somebody's going to have to come after me. And he's going to have to look
exactly.
over his shoulder.
Last of Us Part Two.
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's literally what
So
it comes
yeah.
down to.
But let's get back to that Liquid Swords
Liquid
episode.
Swords. Yeah, man.
That that lovely mini episode. It was just like I said, out of all of them, this one was the one. He's truly a genius, and I just love that like ninja appeal of him, and he has that and how the liquid sword was actually like an allegorical symbol for his tongue, and whenever he starts rapping, that's when the liquid sword like comes prevalent and starts like attacking people, and it's very creative way to embody the liquid swords.
Yeah, man.
I always just visualize liquid swords. Like I guess I was very literal with it, and so for
Yeah.
them to kind of change that, it was like, oh, that's very different. That wasn't what I expected, and I
Yeah.
appreciated that.
That and then,
But
like, the whole, like, message they were trying to say was basically, like, there's so much commercial rap out there, and then you have, like, members of the Wu-Tang of, like, they're now putting out this commercial rap too, and it's just like, where, for example, it's like ODB's out here doing songs with Mariah. It's just like, it's watered down hip hop, and he's like, "No,
yeah,
I need to bring it back to the raw stuff, like, what we do. I need to bring everybody back and put them on my track to do so." And it's like that's what he was doing. That's what he wanted to do in real life, and then that's what he's doing in his mini movie, and just through
yeah.
this awesome format. It was awesome.
I loved how it really was like kind of true to like history too, because pop really did come out of nowhere, and people really were afraid of pop. Like, what is this like new genre that's kind of, has some okay, yeah. So it has like some uh origins of multiple different genres itself, and so it's like it's not pure, and a lot of people were purists back then, and so it really was a big deal for this new genre to kind of like take over and be like, oh, what is this? And so it was a fantastic representation of them kind of really fighting for the purity and the sanctity of hip hop, and the being able to express themselves how they want, and really just speak true from their souls, and represent their culture and represent their people and represent themselves, because every bar is just a reflection of the person rapping them. And so it really was just a fun watch, that episode, seeing him kind of gather all the different members, and in the mini story he gathered all the members and united them to fight this,
Yeah.
the ministers
They
and
had to go send the message to the abbot to bring him back because he's trying to find a new sound.
to find a new sound. I thought that was a cool concept too,
Yeah.
and it's funny how they sent the wheelchair dude up there. I was like, yo,
Oh,
that
yeah,
little
what's his name?
wheelchair is
Yeah.
definitely gonna break. And then The Fatherless Child. I was
Oh,
dying at that. I was like, oh, it's the Fatherless Child, and it was ODB. I was like, yo, that makes so much sense. Yeah.
wanna know
And
something funny? So I don't know why this is me just being dumb. So like the evil, like the antagonist was like the random dude who wore a mask. And
yeah.
when he was wearing a mask, though, I don't know why I was like, is this fine?" Like, because like you can't tell. I was just like, dude is like kind of like light skinned. I was like, that might be divine. I don't know. And then he takes off. It's
Yeah.
this like random Asian dude. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I thought it was gonna be somebody else from the group or something. I was like, I guess not. It's just, and he just
What
represented like commercialism or whatever.
was it, me, or like did the mask not fit him right? I felt like the mask was over his eyes. I was like, what am I looking at right now? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man.
And but yeah, it was really cool how they turned like the ministers were like the pretty much, other cultures and other music cultures, and they're trying to manipulate the people and keep them dumb by feeding them this diluted form of music called pop. And so it was really cool to see them use the liquid swords and rap battle people and
Yeah,
really bring everyone together, and everybody had their own little verse, and then it wrapped up all nice.
yeah,
They
man. That was
saved
cool.
they saved hip hop.
Yeah, and then of
And
course that one leads into RZA try to. He's like, hey, contract's almost up. 5 years. What happens now? But
yeah,
no, man, that
and that was a big moment for him too, because he, like, at this point everybody is pretty much just a headache to deal with, and he has kept it together for 5 years, like managing these nine people, these grown alpha egos, and even more because they're famous now. They're even more inflated. So it's like it's like trying to control like a pack of wild wolves just
yeah,
running
man.
everywhere. It's like you can't. And so he was feeling very fed up. And at that one point, right before it ended, he literally told them, "Was like, thank you for everything. I really appreciate that, but I give up."
Yeah.
Like you could
He's like,
just
I
see
just
he was
can't.
done, like with y'all, just everything. He can't do it anymore. All the pressure, all the, you know, the exactly pressure from the studio execs, from just trying to top yourself,
Yeah,
and then all the pressure from just trying to get all these people to work with each other,
yeah,
and like, yeah, they're brothers, and they grew up together, but at the same time they're all so very different.
yeah,
So
man. And that's the thing on that last one where it's like basically they go out there. He finally makes the song or the album rather, and it's a double album, and it hits. Then they're at the party, and that's where like, hey, this guy he manages the tour for Rage Against the Machine. They want to do a tour with both of you guys. Like, okay, and then that's where they cut to like that tour manager is just like, what is happening? Like, why did I bother signing you guys? It's like I can't get all you guys on stage. Like, where's OD? We haven't seen ODB in weeks. Like, he's gone. Like, Ghostface shows up if he feels like it. It's just
I
like,
think it's to interject, the best part about finding ODB
oh
was
my, I was so
he was
mad.
actually traveling with the show, just watching the
It's
show
like, yeah,
from the
you guys were
crowd.
great on stage. Like,
He was
bro,
like,
what?
"Yeah, we killing it, God."
I would have just attacked him. Like, I would have just beat him so bad. Like, if that was
Yeah.
me. Like,
Oh
and who
man.
was it that found it? Was it Raekwon? It was like, bro, you've been following the tour. Like,
Straight up, like that was classic ODB though.
I
And
was
like
so mad.
honestly, like if he didn't do that though, he wouldn't be ODB. He was really just that wild card, like, but at the
So
same time, you had to love his music. He had so many good songs.
so remember how I told you like I would read about stuff like after every episode. So there was this one where I kind of went down a rabbit hole in ODB specifically, and kind of like reading about like what happened to him before he passed away and all
Yeah.
that. And apparently like something similar happened where it's like he kind of was just like I think he was arrested or he was like in the process of being arrested and he kind of like escaped. And like apparently Wu-Tang was like doing a show or something. This man showed up, did a song like on stage or something, and then disappeared again. It's like
Did you
that's
happen
how
to
crazy
see
ODB was.
if he really did like fall out that window? Was that this season? I think
Oh
so.
yeah, that was season. Yeah, that was the beginning of season 3. I didn't look that up actually. I don't know where he fell out the window because he was getting chased.
Crazy.
But
That
yeah, man,
dog.
ODB was that wild. Like,
Oh yeah, man. Man, I love his. He's got "Ooh Baby, I Like It Raw." Like I I still sing that to myself. Just
yeah, it's a
it's
great
just so
song.
good. He's got his whole charisma on the tracks, man. His vibes, his energy just makes you want to sing
Uh,
along and vibe with. And the contents is just so dirty too, and just exactly him.
I mean, that's why he had that little mini movie was the way it was. It was like these Dirt McGirt, like or Dirt McGirt or whatever it was. Yeah, man, it's just that's ODB. But when you get to that episode, that last one where it's just like Riz is just tired, and like you mentioned earlier in this recording, where he's talking to the manager for Rage Against the Machine. She's like, "Yeah, you know, it's like you have to deal with 9 people," and then Riz is like, "I only deal with 8." It's like you don't think about yourself, and that's where she kind of like broke down for him. It's like, "Hey, if you when you're done with this, if you need a manager, like, you know, I got you." And yeah, and you can see RZA right there. He was like, the wheels were turning in his head. It's like, yeah, you know, it's like it's the end for this contract, but maybe it's the end for me having to deal with all this too. Maybe I'm free after this. And that's what he went to them. He was like, "Hey, thank you for everything. It's been nice knowing you guys. Like, we'll you know,
For real.
see you down the road." Like, but you had that. You had Method Man was just chilling on the bus. Like, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I don't know.
And that's another thing. Hip hop was their culture, their thing. So it was cool to see that like they didn't want to rap for these white people. Like
Yeah.
they're not who this music is for. They're very this hip hop is very like sacred to them, and
And
it's
and
really
who
cool
of
to
all
see
people,
that.
ODB was kind of one of the people that helped him realize it. Because it's like
Yeah,
because ODB went on tour when Raekwon was the one who was like, "Yeah, I'm not rapping for them. They don't know about this. They don't know about our culture." And then he's the one who finds ODB. He's like, "No, they're down with it. Like they love this
they
stuff."
actually do know word for word, like they about it. And yeah, so it was really cool to kind of see them all come back and not reunite, I guess, but unite for that last concert. And even Divine had to like put that Tommy guy in check. He's just like, get him off the stage, and like the persistence and the energy is just never give up. It was even when he like turned the power off,
Well, and they're just like, "We're gonna go
they
a
kept
cappella.
going
Like we're
even
good."
without. Yeah, exactly, and it was just so good to watch. It was pretty enjoyable show in general, and this it was cool because the Wu-Tang really did open up so many avenues for them and brought them to superstardom. And RZA's still been on so many like music tracks producing, and I've seen a lot of like music soundtracks for movies. I've seen
I
his
was about to say, I'm a movie guy before I'm anything music,
yeah.
and RZA. I mean, oh, what was it called? The Man with the Iron Fist or whatever. That's a directed
Oh
by
yeah.
RZA.
Yeah, so he's
You know,
doing like huge projects,
I mean,
and
yeah,
Method Man is out here acting, doing everything. He's
yeah, he's like in that. What is it?
multi-talented.
The Power, the show, Power Book 2 or something
Yeah,
like that. He's on one of those, and
yeah.
this dude's done so much. You have that Ghostface, Raekwon. They're
Jizza,
still out there doing their stuff.
Jizza, even I think got like PhDs and stuff.
Yeah,
He's got multiple degrees, so it's
dude's
like
legit a genius.
legit, yeah. And so it's really cool to see like people from the street. You know you give them a chance, and they really do harness their talent and stuff. You know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, God rest ODB soul. You know, I'm sure he would still be creating crazy bangers if he was still here with
Man would
us and
be
stuff.
doing who knows what right now. Like,
Ooh, baby, I like it raw too.
oh man, but yeah,
Oh,
man, all that stuff, and then like you said, Riz's creativeness. Like the man was a producer on this show. Like, and you saw how wild the show would get out there sometimes. Like he did crazy stuff where whether it be these little mini movies or you have RZA's process where he's coming up with music. It's like RZA himself, the real RZA, is behind all this, you know, in the making of the show. Like this man has a track on like 2 or 3 different Quentin Tarantino movies. Like this man's worked closely with Tarantino. Like that, like
yeah,
RZA's that creative. So it's like, I don't know, man. This group is just a very intense group of individuals that just changed everything. Other not just music, just changed everything there is. You know, even
yeah,
fashion with Power,
yeah. I was just gonna
with
say
Wu
Wu
wear.
wear. Even like I still see people wearing like the Eagles like now the Wu-Tang, and it's just it's amazing just to see all
Mm.
the success and whatnot. Um,
So I know I told you before we started recording. I did have like a quick little thing where I had like the pictures of like the actors and then the actual people. I'm just gonna run through that real fast so we
Sure.
could get an idea. And remind me when we get to Inspector Deck specifically. This is one thing I want to mention. So let me share the screen. There we go. So here we go. We got Bobby Diggs. We got RZA, the actor, played by Ashton Sanders. So we got him. This is in season 1 where he's playing the chess and the guy's talking to him. He's like, "Hey, stop selling weed." And we have the real RZA.
There there's one episode where he like talks with like the deep voice, and then he was like a character in one of the mini episodes, I think, and he had like a regular voice. I was not ready for that.
That was in ODBs. That's one thing I wanted to mention. I don't like RZA's voice throughout the show. RZA like, doesn't sound like that.
Weirdly deep.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Where it's just like it's not that it's just deep. It's deep, and then he does these weird unnecessary pauses when he speaks. It's like he's just like, "Hey, yo, Vine, did you get the money?" Like it's this weird like, why do you speak like this?
No, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But I feel like I don't know. It's like something to do with his voice box.
I mean, no, it's definitely part of the voice. It's the deep voice, and then like the unnecessary pauses. It's just like nobody speaks like this, RZA. What are you doing? But yeah, now that I look at this, I don't really see too much similarity.
No, yeah, now that you put it side by side, I thought it looked like.
Throughout the show, they kind of do.
He's got his style, but not exactly like in the face.
Yeah. Now this one, I mean, all the way. You got Shameik Moore playing Raekwon, or Corey Woods, Raekwon the chef. So here we go. We got the actor, and then when you got the actual person, it's just like I see Raekwon, like I see the dude from the show.
No, yeah, I could definitely see it.
It's like when you look at it, it's just like
that's a pretty good portrayal.
And like I said, I've been watching a lot of different things with Wu-Tang. So I've watched a couple of like different like interviews and stuff with the real Raekwon, and like this kid has it down packed. Like his movements, his mannerisms, his speech patterns. It's like he's got it down. Like he turned himself into Raekwon. It was incredible.
That's one of those like you definitely study the character and really like spend hours a day like just trying to mimic every little syllable and
man. And just to want to do a quick shout out. He's wearing Wu-Wear. So we got that. Now
I wonder
who we
if I
got next?
Still guess on Wu-Wear.
Yeah, right. Here we go. We got Sadiq Sanderson, who's playing Dennis Coles, aka Ghostface Killah. Amazing actor. This man, he's had to do so many different like emotions and roles and stuff throughout this show alone. And there's the real Ghostface. This is a young picture of Ghostface, by the way. This man's got like a full long beard now.
I could kind of see it. That's not too far.
Yeah. This is actually pretty good.
Maybe it's just pictures, but no, I think I could see it though.
Yeah, no, definitely see it. Here we go. This is Method Man Jr. Dave East.
For like, real though.
Do I even need to show it? I could show this picture twice.
Cal Jr.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. That's they're related. They're blood related.
And not only that, but they sound the same, y'all. I gotta give it up to these actors. Like they really because they'll actually like at the end play like whatever song they just produced and it'll be the actors rapping it, but like they sound pretty close to the original. It's really cool how they did that.
Now I want to so this guy Dave East, he is a real singer. I know that. Do you actually know any of his stuff?
Not really. He's a real rapper. I don't think he sings. But I know my cousin George, he was telling me about him one day, and he's like praising him, like really good stuff. I just never really got around.
Same. I don't know him, but I've heard of him. Like I know he's good. And then I watched Dave, the Lil Dicky show. He's like in an episode of that of Dave as well. So I saw him on there. Where he was
Big Chris posted like a picture of his baby, and apparently Dave East, the other guy, had like a song like about his daughter or whatever, and so he like put it with a picture of his daughter. So I guess he's pretty out there. He's definitely got a variety of songs, not just like that new mumble rappers.
Had no idea. He's
a real rapper. You didn't know?
No, I had no idea. I don't know this stuff. This is right now live. This is my legit reaction. Yes.
Oh well, yeah. Big Chris has a baby now.
Congrats to Chris. I had no idea.
Yeah.
All right, good for him.
Surprise.
I don't know. I don't know where to take
Yeah.
the. All right, I'm gonna move forward for now. I
Next
do have
up.
questions. Here we go. We got Julian Elijah Martinez. This man's Hispanic. Playing, playing
Had me
Diggs.
fooled.
Mitchell Divine Diggs. Just gotta say, this man's little afro thing is like the cleanest cut.
Right? It's perfect.
Oh
And that
man.
style though,
And
that tie is crazy.
here's real Vine. I see it.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
You know, I see it all the way.
Nah, yeah, definitely pretty similar. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
He had a lot to do with it too, the
Oh,
background business
big part.
aspect. So without him, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't even exist.
Oh yeah. Here we go. We got Marcus Callender playing Oliver Power Grant. You know, Power, who we know, Mr. Wu
Yeah.
Ware himself. Let's move down. Let's see what he looks like in real life.
I could see that.
A little bit, yeah.
Go back up real quick.
Yeah. What's it?
Yeah.
It kind of does look like a younger version
they're
of him.
similar, but like the
Different.
one they cast is definitely a little more Hollywood. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd say about everyone except Method Man, who's basically just the same person. They de-aged Method Man. Here we go. We got TJ Adams as Russell Tyrone Jones, also as the name they don't put here, Ason Unique. Also the ODB.
I fucking love that name, Ason. Yeah, it just speaks to my soul. I wanted to use that. I'm gonna use that name in one of my
there you go.
One of my character books.
All right, so we got the actor, then we have the real one, ODB.
Same. Yeah, that's pretty good casting. Like,
yeah, man,
he did such a good job too.
Like, I was about to say he did an amazing job.
He did a splitting image of Old Dirty. Like, just the mannerisms, the inflections, and the way he spoke, and the just goofy, wild man. This guy is like.
So there was another YouTube interview I saw where I want to say they were interviewing Ghostface again, and he's talking about the when he met ODB for the first time, and it's like I think he was hanging out with RZA, and he just gotten some Chinese food or something, so he was eating his food, and then RZA and ODB come by. He's never met ODB, never said a word to him. ODB's like, "Hey, yo, what's up, man? Let me get some of them wings." Like, just starts eating Ghostface food. Like, he just met the guy. Ghostface like, I don't know, like, who is this dude? Like, I don't know.
That's disrespectful, not the wings.
Yeah. And it's like, and you know how crazy Ghostface was. Like, you saw the show, how this man was just ready to shoot people all the time. Like, here comes ODB. It's just like, yeah, I'm gonna eat some of your Chinese food.
No, yeah, but he was that wild, like, goofy, funny dude too to do that.
And that's the thing. He was like, yeah. Then after that, he was cool with ODB. He knew ODB was cool people. But at first, it's like, is this your guy? Like, what's he doing? Anyway, we got that, and then here we go. We got Jizza. So John L. Young playing Gary Earl Grice, the Jizza, the genius, and this is another one that's pretty good, like pretty spot on.
Man, the casting is amazing.
Yeah, and looking at the real people, you could tell that RZA, Jizza, and ODB are related. Like, you could see it in their actual, like, the real life people's faces.
Yeah, family.
So we got that.
Man, but it's cool also the wardrobe. They like they pulled that like 90s fashion. Bubble coats,
they were fashionable at the time.
Like,
this man's out here rocking his Nautica jacket. Like,
yeah,
so we got that. All right, then we got
he's reaching for yourself.
Oh yeah. Here we go. We got Damani DeCease as Lamont Jody Hawkins, aka You God. So here's the actor You God. This is another one they did a really good job with. That's like, it's the same person.
Yo, that's crazy.
That is You God.
They got doppelgangers.
They really do. And it's funny. If you told me You God was related to Allen Iverson, I'd say no, he is Allen Iverson. This man looks exactly the same. Put number 3 in his bag. He can play basketball.
Chatbots.
Yeah, right. Here we go. We got I'm gonna butcher this. Uyuada Udi as Jason Richard Hunter, aka Inspector Deck. So okay, they don't have it here. So let me just show it real quick. So here's the actor, and then we have the real Deck right here. I see it 100%.
They
Now, one
clone
thing I
these
want to
people.
mention, they don't show it here in this picture, but if I ever saw somebody who looked like they were always scheming, Inspector Deck looked like he was always up to no good throughout the entire 3 seasons. Every time they cut to him, this man had like a side eye. He was smiles like, what did he just do? What is he doing over there? like, like throughout the entire, especially the Liquid Swords episode where he had like the weird like
Oh my
nails.
god, he had
Like
like
he
the
had the
claw, the
face.
talons. He
Yeah.
would even stand all weird and just like, just to.
The whole time I was like, he's up
No,
to no good. Like, I don't know what he's
yeah.
doing.
I don't 100% trust that guy, but I'm glad he's on my side.
Yeah, man. And I don't know what it is, man. This show really like I enjoy Wu-Tang and everything, but this show really upped Inspector Deck for me all the way. It's like listening to like his parts of the songs and stuff. I was like, I always vibed with his, I think, the most out of everyone there.
Out of the whole group?
Yeah. I think every time we got to a song, it's like, and he was on the track, I was like, the moment I hear a certain part, I was like, that's Deck. And it was. Like it's like it's always Deck's parts that stand out to me.
Yeah, he's definitely pretty good. I don't know. I think for me, I like Method Man. I like
Yeah.
Method Man,
I mean, they're all
especially
great.
when he did his little solo career and
Yeah.
his Redman stuff. I think
Absolutely.
I resonated more with that.
And that's everybody we have. None of these people were Wu-Tang.
Ooh,
But
ooh, tabasco.
but what's it called? One person, so they don't have Master Killer on here. There's a couple people that are like not there, I think. But what's also, yeah, I want to do that real quick. So this was from Pop Sugar. If you guys want to check it out, shout out to Kelsey Gibson. Thank you for that. But what about when they got Busta Rhymes on that one episode? The actor that played Busta Rhymes.
Oh, that
was
was
like,
pretty,
where's
yeah.
Dirty? I really want to do
Yeah,
a
like
video, do a track with ODB.
Oh man, that was like a nice little callback. That
Yeah.
you got to cast a young Busta Rhymes like.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. He
It
did
honestly
look
it
like a young
wasn't.
Busta.
It did with the hair and oh man.
Oh man.
No,
But
yeah. So start to finish, every season had a nice little part of the saga, and
an American Saga.
an American saga, and it all came together at the end. You got to see these young, powerful black men make it out the hood and really make their imprint on the world because they really were international superstars. Like they went from hustling in the streets to hustling these beats for everybody to just
That was nice.
enjoy and just spread the love, man. It was all just creative masterpieces.
Yeah, man. One thing that I feel like the way they ended it off was great. The very last like scene where it's like the Thanksgiving dinner, where it's like every member from Wu-Tang, and this is like after they do that concert where they have to end up going a cappella, and you're like, okay, is that it? Do they ever get back together again? And if you watch real life, like there are moments where you have people together. I mean, then ODB, of course, passed away, so you're not able to get everybody together. But when they show that Thanksgiving episode, and then it's like everybody's getting together. They have like the vegan turkey and all that, and then you have like when Riz's mom is like, you know what, I never got a picture of all you guys together. So everybody goes in there, and it's funny because they start doing the poses. It's like you're at a Thanksgiving dinner. What are you guys doing?
Thug posing hard as hell. No laughs, just straight raw.
You have like it was like you got a RZA like doing the whole thing where they're kneeling, like looking to the side.
So funny. And the mom had to be like, okay, one with smiles. I won't.
And they still didn't do it. Like
no, some of them did.
Some of them
Most
did.
of them.
Some of them did. Yeah.
But I thought they were gonna show like a real picture from like they actually took a real picture.
I did too. That's why when that happened, I was like, is this real or is this like maybe that didn't happen and like they're just putting it in the show? That's why I was like, I was expecting the same exact thing. It's like they're gonna show the real image. So maybe it never really occurred. We don't know.
I like also how I like how also at the end they kind of showed how they're still doing this still. They're like 20 years later or whatever. How many years? There's exactly Wu-Tang is really forever, and that's what they said in the show too. Like 10 years, 20 years. Like they kept like talking about how much impact you're gonna have and how long, and it really was true. Like how many times do you hear like besides oldies like Beatles and all those people? How many times do you hear like a track and be like that? that song and actually stay relevant for so long. I feel like songs now just cycle through the billboard and then they're gone and then like you never hear from them again. But Wu-Tang is like timeless, you know.
No, there's this video on YouTube I saw of this one kid where basically I think his YouTube channel is he listens to music and people watch him listen to music. I'm not gonna get into that. You know, it's a thing. People do that. But I mean, we're here just two random people talking about a show we like. So who are we to talk?
I've seen those.
Yeah. Sometimes
I've seen some where it's like, oh, this dude's first time listening to Eminem. Like,
yeah,
you know,
and that's what it was. So this kid, he has this thing where it's like Throwback Thursday or something, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know anything about Wu-Tang. I've heard of Wu-Tang. So then he watches Protect Your Neck, and I was like, I want to see this kid's point of view. And it's like he listens to like newer music. So he's in there, and then he's listening to it. And of course, like I said, it starts off with Dex, words and everything, his part of the song. And then it's like throughout that part alone, he had to keep pausing. It's like, this is crazy. It's just like he's losing his mind. Like, this is good. It was like he's like, all right, because like somebody in the audience suggested it to him. He's like, all right, you guys really put me on something. And after that, they go to Raekwon's verse. He stops that like 6 times, and he did it for every single person. He just keeps stopping and going back. And he watched. It took him like 20 minutes to watch this one video, and he's like, this is insane. It's like no wonder they're this good. And it's just like, and he's like in the video they keep on showing is like every person's name, so everybody's on that track. So it's like Inspector Deck, Raekwon, Ghostface, Method Man. He's like, how many of these guys are there? It's like they don't stop.
It really is crazy. That's crazy in itself too. That there's like 9 members, and you really got to track with all 9 of them. All like just huge tracks. And but man, that's what they're known for: pushing the boundaries and changing it up, and just really bringing those fresh lyrics from the streets, that raw energy that just gets you pumped, that makes you want to just vibe and just blast that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Just listen to that Wu-Tang again and again and again.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. Wu-Tang truly is forever. It's gonna outlive us all.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly.
But yeah, no, it's a great show. If anybody who hasn't watched it, I highly suggest you watch it. If you did watch it, tell us what you thought about it in the comments. Let me just put that in there. Also, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the good stuff. Tell us how you feel about the Wu-Tang as a group, as the show, other things they've done, other things they've gone on to do, and other people they've worked with, like Redman, like Busta Rhymes, people that they really weren't shown in the show, like Capadonna. You know that you have that. The Killer Bees.
They had Puff Daddy too, or something.
Yeah, Puffy was in it.
Yeah,
he was in one of them.
Maybe comment if we missed anything too, or any pivotal moments, or we kind of like briefly went over it. So maybe some cool key parts, and just definitely holler at us.
Yeah, definitely let us know what's going on. If you want to get at us, just go follow our socials, which we have right below. You can find us on YouTube. I mean, you can find us on YouTube, but you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram. We have the Los Wise Guys TikTok. We have the specific Los Wise Guys channels for all those other social medias as well. And as always, you can always go to the loswiseguys.com website where you can find all our stuff. You can find the LWGFEGLS3. I messed that one up. LWGFEGLS3. Got it. And if I mess up, I'm going to come back and say it faster. All right. don't mess with me. But no, definitely check that out. Check out all our other episodes. Next week, it is going to be just you and I believe, ourselves, Disco. Eslam is still falling down the mountain of Ramadan. I changed it from an island to a mountain, if you noticed. That's that's what it is now.
Yeah, it's time changes, so the Earth's layout just changes.
Yeah, global warming, not even Ramadan.
Global warming.
But yeah, man. So definitely let us know what's going on. You can follow us here on YouTube or here on twitch.tv/LosWiseGuys on your favorite podcast platform, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever other podcast platform you like to use. But go out there, make sure you follow us, and let us know how you feel. Before we do that, Disco, do you have any final thoughts?
No, just I guess I do. Just check out the show. It's got 2 thumbs up for me. Definitely, if you like music, if you know Wu-Tang, you're definitely gonna appreciate it more. If you're like Danny and you're not really like musically orientated, I think you still enjoy it, because I believe he enjoyed it.
I loved it. I love the show.
And it's more than
just creativeness. Really?
it's a very good drama, and there's a lot of depth and growth, and just a lot of ups and downs in that show, and it's really cool to see how something can grow from nothing and just take over the whole world. Just an
Yeah.
idea, started off as an idea, and then blossomed and really like a virus almost took over.
Yeah, man.
So
No,
definitely go check it out, and shout out to all the actors and actresses that starred in that show. It was quality material.
yeah. Yeah, no, same goes for me. Amazing show. If whether or not you like Wu-Tang, I suggest you check it out. If you like good TV shows, watch it. It's a good TV show. I mean, everybody likes an underdog story. Everybody likes a rags to riches story, and that's what this is. That, and then you get to hear great music come from it too. So, highly recommend to everybody. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything. Looks like we're all good to go. So Disco already left. So at this point,
I just realized my phone's at 1%.
oh jeez. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the episode here. So once again, I already told you all the places you could find us, you could follow us, you could watch us, you could listen and interact. So be sure to do that next time. And in the meantime, have a great week.